Yes. We've shared the same house for 2 years, and yet somehow you still put up with me, and I will actually acknowledge that you know me in public, so.
You keep paying rent.
Yeah, there's that.
And she travels a lot.
Yeah. Hey, look, I'm going to be out on business for 2 weeks. I'll be in India, I'll be in Germany, I'll be here, I'll be there. I won't be with Dave. Yes. You know, it's one of those things.
And you feed the cats. You feed the cats.
I feed the cats, yeah. As one of our little sneaky bastards got himself fed twice this morning. Sorry, inside joke time. We'll get you in on this show any minute now. I'm curious. I've been like watching the news lately, and apparently I must have been out of it or something. All those concussions, something smacked me in the head.
I was watching the news.
How many concussions? 7.
32.
Maybe with a few fractions in there. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm kind of curious. I've been watching the news and things are blowing up and it's getting kind of weird. Did something happen last week?
No.
Around Tuesday?
Karl Rove melted down.
Yeah. I try so hard not to be the bad guy. Any Republicans here tonight? Anyone? Good. I don't see it fitting you real well, Sheldon.
I think we could be a whipping boy, because if so, sign me up.
Yeah, okay, there we are. Tying a bow in this. Anyway, one of those days where I'm sitting around going, I had something, and then it went like, oh yeah, Karl Rove. There are those moments in life where I try so hard to be the good guy, to be the good winner, to be gracious. I didn't say a bad thing about Mitt Romney all of Election Day. And Karl Rove had that meltdown on Fox News, which was kind of like going, hey, let's throw chum in the water for Dave. I sat down and watched that segment of him flipping out on Fox News like 8 times in a row. That was like my political pornography at a level I can hardly describe. It was the one time in my life that Karl Rove made my entire day. Just watching the complete and utter, like, it can't be true. We did our best to like make sure that anybody could, that only white people could vote, and that we spent 3 times more money. That's not possible. Yes, it is, and I fucking love it.
How many just socks did you have to wash in a day?
Let's just say that I also went through a couple of sweatpants. Just saying. That was actually kind of like a really fun evening for me.
Yes, so.
Yeah. Megan was upstairs and I was trying very, very hard not to disturb her because she did the smart, rational thing, which is, I'm going to ignore the election until it's pretty much over. I, on the other hand, was sitting down, watching the election like it was Green Bay in the Super Bowl, and may I point out, I'm from Wisconsin. You're glued to that moment, just sitting there the entire game. Everything has to happen just this way. And there's the swings and there's this, and he takes the early lead. And then later on, it's like, oh, it's so close and it's neck and neck. And I'm sitting there with, watching The Daily Show on my television. I've got my computer on, and I've got it to HuffPost because, I lean a lot to the, I am a fucking socialist. More on that later. Yes, and there was this great moment where I went from like 186 Obama to like 190 Romney, and I turned my head, and all of a sudden you just saw the entire West Coast go blue, especially California. 244 Obama, and it was like, I'm pretty sure that if Megan was napping or something, I'm so sorry, because that was the moment I went, yeah, very loudly.
She wasn't napping. She was like, I can't look at you. I can't look
at the internet. And it's just like one of those things. And for me, it's very odd because I'm from both the Wisconsin and Chicago area. Being from the Chicago area, I'm pretty much bound and determined to vote Democratic, mostly because I'm well aware of the fact that if I don't, the ghost of Richard J. Daley will rise up, and he will choke the fuck out of me.
So if you tell somebody else will vote for you.
Yes. Several times. 3 of them dead. Yeah, Shelby soon going, I will vote for you, and you might be dead. Voting Republican? No. And I was actually kind of more in tune with the Green Party because, like I said, I'm a fucking socialist. But at the same time, I kind of figure that Obama is kind of like for the younger generation, and I love saying that. because I'm 44.
You're my age.
Yeah, and I'm dating a 21-year-old.
Devil in it.
Yeah. Thank you. Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. Hate me because I'm having the time of my fucking life. It's one of those things. I never step into circumstances where I never like walk into these things. It always is like I'm sitting there going, oh look, life, bam, oh hi. Oh, you're Joey? Nice to meet you. There are those kind of, I always kind of like figure that for the younger generation that President Obama is kind of like the gateway leftist. You kind of like, work with me on this, we'll get there.
Just equate the president to pot.
No, I equated him to bacon, work with me on this. Bacon, the gateway meat.
Destination.
Yes. So, because I'm far more toward like the Green Party than I am the Democratic Party. I have my own set of beliefs and my own concepts and everything else, but we have been pushed so far to the right in this country in so many ways that if you were to it would be like, you know, diabetic shock if we were to move the entire country to like the Greens, you know, in like one fell swoop. So you start with, you know, President Obama. We might have President Clinton again. Hillary this time, I don't know. But along the way, you can build up some momentum and say, hey, we've been over here, you know, stage right, for a long time. Now, let's just kind of like bring the clock back that way. So we'll kind of like ease you into it gradually. How do we try it out that way? And that's what I've always kind of felt about President Obama, that he is kind of like that gateway into the left for America. And I'm kind of hoping that we will kind of take that turn, because fuck knows we need it. In my humble opinion. Well, it's not Scotch whiskey, but it will be later. And the fun part for me was watching Facebook the next day. Actually, the real fun part began as I was watching Facebook, and then somebody pointed out that Rush Limbaugh was broadcasting that day. Oh, Jesus Christ, I mean, the Karl Rove thing was amazing. I think I was sitting around with a bottle of, like, you know, a thing of IV saline to rehydrate myself to get ready for the Rush Limbaugh show, because he melted down even worse. It was wonderful. And there was something about the Limbaugh thing, though, and watching everybody melt down and watching all of the sore losers on the other side, all of these people that are convinced that somehow we as a nation cannot survive, you know, having this person as the leader of the executive branch, that somehow America is so weak that it can be undercut by one person. And watching them all flip out like that was really kind of interesting to me, how it is that we can kind of project all of our darkness and all of the things that we're afraid of. It's not so much that it's anything that this man ever did. It's more the idea that he is the thing that people sit there and go, oh, well, he looks different than us, so let's just lay some shit on him. We'll just call him a Muslim and he's from Kenya or whatever, or, you know, socialist or whatever. And watching the people who epically freak out about that just amazes me.
United Darkness Day.
Yeah, whatever works. I'm trying really hard not so much because, you know, I'm reasonably certain that the president is aware of the fact that he's, you know, African American. I'm just trying really hard not to alienate a group of people by calling them automatically racist because they don't like him. I kind of want to let them at least say, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. Come this way. We'll show you that we're all fairly reasonable people, and that's something that we've lost in this country. A couple of things happened that day for me, one of which was somebody posted something that made me lividly angry, and I'm going to riff on that in a minute. And then somebody, who sadly is not here this evening, I really wish he was, we talked about it that day, and I just want to acknowledge the fact that he is still one of the most awesome people I know, a gentleman by the name of Barry Dunn. He's the business manager for Dominicat Clothing. They sponsor us, and I'm not just saying that because they sponsor us. Barry is really a wonderful person. The thing that made me angry, we're all pretty much hooked in with the whole Facebook thing, right? Everybody got a line on that? Yeah, okay. So you're seeing the e-cards thing where they'll put up something that looks like it's a greeting card and there's something really goofy on it, or cursing, or some sexual reference, or some political reference, or whatever. Well, a guy I know by the name of Mike Fontaine, by the way, you ignorant cunt, you still haven't gotten on stage up here yet. If you're going to say, call me out, get your bitch ass up here. Sorry, had to be said. Basically, and I don't usually drop C-bombs, I certainly don't do it on women, but on Mike Fontaine, I know it offends the fuck out of him, cunt. And so with that in mind, I am going to do it at about every opportunity that I can, because he'll either shut the fuck up or get his bitch ass up on stage. Either way, I'm good with that because he's got to let his nuts descend. Did you hear that, cunt? Just saying. He posted something that was a picture of a group of people sitting around a table, and the top part said, you know, give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day. And I can't remember the whole specifics, but it was something about give a man welfare and food stamps and this and that, and he'll vote Democratic for the rest of his life.
Oh, that thing.
That thing. I don't know if you followed the whole trail on that. It went on for a while.
See, Barry posted that?
No, Barry didn't. Another guy by the name of Mike Fontaine. Barry would never do that. I know him far too well.
Sorry, I missed the punchline.
Oh, by the way, I said Mike Fontaine. Cunt. Anyway. How many times am I going to have the chance to do that and actually get a laugh? I mean, come on. And so this whole argument, huh?
5 more.
Yeah, at least. we were up to like, what, an 11 compliment, you know? Oh, no, shit, it's 4 more. Well, those moments. And so, I proceeded to tell Barry that I thought, I'm not Barry, sorry, dude, I really do apologize, you can swing at me later. I proceeded to tell Mike, dude, I think that's really lame, and this is the reason why I don't vote Republican, and as much as I appreciate some elements of the classic conservative belief, the idea of self-reliance and the idea of, you know, working your way up and doing all of these things. Why is it that it has to go hand in hand with believing that everybody else around you is trying to take some kind of shit away from you? That there has to be some kind of concept that the people around you are in some way, shape, or form mean, vicious bastards who just want to take your tax money or this or that so that way they can live really well while they're undercutting you and all this kind of stuff. And he didn't respond to that, and that's because cunt. Anyway, I'm just rolling. I might go a little bit over, but you know, whatever. I'm just kind of rolling with that. But I had this moment where all I could think of was I had the flash to, I don't know if you ever saw the Molson I Am Canadian ads. I am personally partially Canadian. And I think part of the reason I'm also mad at the Republicans is because if you're not part of the Republican Party, apparently, you're not a real American. And being kind of like, and I'm really annoyed by that. Everybody here is, you know, a real American. You arrive, you're part of the country, you pay your taxes, you do your work. We're all involved in putting this thing together. And while they're sitting around saying, oh my God, it's class warfare. These people, because, you know, they want to raise taxes in this area, that's class warfare. Calling all the rest of you a bunch of people who want to live off of another person's taxes is really fucking class warfare and is really divisive, and it really fucking pisses me off. And so I had this moment where I thought to myself, hi, my name is Dave. I work a full-time job. I work a part-time job. I produce these shows. I am putting together a film. I am not having unprotected sex with my girlfriend for this sheer enjoyment of the idea of her having multiple abortions. I am not sitting around the house getting high every day, or any day. I gave that shit up years ago. My name is Dave, and I am a bad liberal. And then I will point out that Barry Dunn, as I say, who is, you know, a reasonably good, decent person, unlike Mike Fontaine. You scoring me on this? That's awesome. Two. Oh, I sneak it by, it didn't work. And so Barry, I think quite reasonably, because Barry's a decent person who I don't think enjoys the game at all. He does not get worked up the way that I do. A quick point for those of you, I see some new faces out here, so I should at the very least give you one little clue to my personality. I come from an Irish family, and specifically what they refer to as an Irish mixed marriage. That would be Protestants on one side and Catholics on the other. Family reunions were very interesting. You'd have a couple of drinks, and then the next thing you knew, shit just got real fast. And so if I don't have something to vent my anger upon, there is always that possibility that I will vent my anger on myself, which may explain a lot of my behavior in my late teens and early 20s. I'll talk about that later. And so Barry, I think in his own way, was kind of pleading for sanity when he posted, "Hi, all of you people who are talking about the election now that it's Wednesday, would you please shut the fuck up?" Yeah, and on the one hand, I really do agree with him. It had been overdone. It had been one of those things where all of us were really tired. We all want to get united. We all kind of want to get back together as being Americans again.
I missed the kittens.
Yes. I am going on a kitten spree of late, in case you haven't noticed. I want an internet cat shortage myself. But I had to respond to Barry because I kind of felt there was something that needed to be said in this argument. And that was, I basically said to him and mentioned him by name so that way he would be aware that I was responding to him. Dear Barry, I respect you to no end. You're one of my favorite people. But when it comes to the idea of shutting the fuck up, I say, oh, hell no. And here's why. I had to put up with 8 years of the Bush administration and all of the stuff that was going on during that particular period of time, constantly feeling as though I was being alienated from my own country, constantly feeling that I was being pushed to one side because I had a set of beliefs, because I had a set of principles, because I believed that we are more than just white people and these people, or rich people and these people. I always had a belief that we should all together be Americans. And apparently during the Bush years, that was not going to happen. And then there was Obama. And then there was a lot of time being spent talking about, speculating on whether or not he was actually a citizen. Was he a Muslim? All of these things that were constantly kind of popping up from underneath the radar. And if you actually supported him, then obviously you were one of those people too, and you were some kind of horrible conspirator, a pod person, something. And now, I got to sit back, relax, and watch Karl Rove spend $356 million and lose every election that he was involved in. I can't even describe how much I've been holding back on not talking, Barry. So with that in mind, I would just like to point out that after 12 years of all of this incredible bullshit that if you are a person who is not to the extreme right of America has had to put up with, if you have been in that set and that circumstance, you know something, now is the time when we throw the victory party. Now is the time when we just stand up and scream at the sky. Now is the time when we have that incredible moment where we can all release and say, yes, we are Americans too. And you know something, God damn it, I'll do it. And you should do it too. And Barry is a wonderful person because as I posted that, I immediately contacted Barry and said, you know I'm doing this with love. You know that, man? And he said, yeah, of course I know that. I figured that once I posted that, the one person I was going to hear about it was Dave Nesbitt. There's no doubt in my mind that you were going to respond to this. I'm like, you know me so well. And Barry and I did what we as a people should do. We can disagree. We can sit around and say, I may not necessarily believe in the thing that you believe in, but I believe in you. And I may not necessarily hold the same view that you have, but I believe that you hold it because you feel it's a legitimate thing that you feel in your heart. And that it is not because you hate another person, but it is because you feel that this is something that needs to be done. And Barry and I could sit down, and within about 3 minutes had sorted out that this was not a hate thing, this was just a venting thing, and that we as people could sit down and talk together. And that is something that we are missing, and something that all of us in this room in the next 4 years are really going to have to work our ass off to do. A lot of people are going to want to try to tell you, hate that conservative guy, hate that person, hate that person. Listen to the person who says you should hate. Don't trust that person. I'm just saying. Instead, listen to the voice inside your head that says, you know, we're all Americans. We all exist to work together. We all exist to make it a better place. And God damn it, it's about time that we did so. Thank you very much. feel odd, Mikey's got to follow that. As I said, it's always... What's that? Oh, right, I got one more, don't I? Cut! Thanks, man, I really appreciate that. I don't know if the people next door really appreciate it, but God damn, that felt good.
They're all out there going, what
What the heck going on? See, that's the thing. I never understood why it is that that's such a horrible word. I understand that there's a negative and a pejorative to any particular use of a word in the English language, but when it comes to what cunt actually represents, I'm using this as a descriptive, not as an actual thing.
-1.
Okay. I'll make it up to Shelby later.
Just bragging at the devil.
Yeah. But when it comes to what it actually is supposed to represent, God damn it, I'm a fan. Primarily heterosexual male. Give me David Bowie or Trent Reznor, I'll hit that shit in a heartbeat. But for the most part, I've got women on the brain. That's what you do. I'm taking your time, aren't I? Sorry. I'm on a roll. Sorry. Too much caffeine. All right. That's the story, anyway. I'm the boss right up until I try to make a decision, then 8 people go, what? So, as we said before, we have storytellers, we have poets, we have a stand-up, we have a Marlowe, we have a this, we have a that, and then we have a Mikey, which we have no real clue as to what it is that he does, we just know that we really enjoy it and that we love him to death. Ladies and gentlemen, Mikey Taylor.
It's a bud with whiskey and a shot.
It was a shot. So you have to excuse me, it's been a busy ass week, both personally and as Dave was talking about in the world. Personally for me, I've been writing for a music magazine, and I somehow wormed my way to 3 guest lists this week. A little band called the Dropkick Murphys was I didn't actually get to speak with them, but I did meet this wonderful band, kind of a folky Irish punk band, that's been hiding out for the last 20 years in Canada. They're called the Mahomes. And if you've never heard of them, check them out now, they're amazing. I got to speak with them for a little while, and they gave me some free shit, so they're really cool. So, and then last night, I was hanging out with the goddamn Gallows in Lincoln. And if you've never seen that band, they are amazing. And they brought like half of their record label along. It's called Farmageddon Records. They brought like half of them along just to hang out and jam. So I got to meet a lot of people, and they gave me a lot of free shit to check out. So I'm really digging this music writing gig. But I wanted to talk for just a minute about some of the other things that were going on and what I did on election night. I hope everyone got a chance to go out and vote. For whoever you voted for, I don't care. It's not my business, I don't care. At least you did it. And I did it as well. And then I went to see the greatest rock and roll band in the world, the Super Suckers. And if you've not heard of the Super Suckers, check them out, they're fucking amazing. But I was watching the election results on the TV, watching the show, and I was like, okay, whatever, I was interested to see what was happening. But, it was, I was interested for the country, not for myself. I don't talk about a lot of political things. I always have voted, I've always been a registered independent, so I don't get to vote a lot, I just get to vote the important shit. And I feel very let down by everyone involved. First of all, I can stand here and say, I voted, if you didn't, shame on you, but that's not my place to do. I can say, I voted and I don't speak about politics, and if you don't feel that your opinion is, or your views are important enough to vote for, then I don't want to hear about them. So, if you don't think they're important, I don't either. Okay? Otherwise, I'll talk to people about politics, whatever. I'm disappointed though that I wasn't given better choices.
Here, here.
I think this is the first election I can think of where I didn't vote for anyone. except for maybe a couple of local elections in my county, I voted against a lot of people. And I feel like I was let down, but that's just me. So I watched the elections, and I was around a lot of people that evening. Some were extremely happy about what happened. Some were extremely pissed off about what happened. Some were indifferent, and I got to see the whole gamut. And it was interesting to me. But then again, I'm not that fucking political. I don't really care as long as the country's going the right way. And I hope it does, eventually. So, the other thing that happened this week, and I'm having a hard time trying to figure out if it was yesterday or today or both that was Veterans Day, but I hope at least you got the thing by veteran, okay? Because they're the ones that thought some of the bullshit occurred. So, but I don't know who when that really happened, or is happening, or whatever, but those veterans here, thank you very much, because, you're the heroes. So, I work in a nursing home, and over the weekend they had a Veterans Day program with some music and things, and to see the photographs of some of these guys and ladies that are at the nursing home that had served in their uniforms, and to see the looks on their faces and the tears in their eyes and things like that, that's something you just can't, it's hard to describe, so I'm not going to try, and what's even harder to describe is when you tell all of them, hey, thank you, and then you have this one little guy that says, come here, kid, don't ever fucking thank me for what I did. Okay. Yeah, he goes, I did what I had to do. It was my job. I will do it again, right now. And it's like, wow, that's really, kind of powerful to me. So if you didn't get a chance to, it doesn't have to be a special day for you to thank a vet. Okay? So please do it. If you want to do me a favor, do that. Or buy me a shot of whiskey. I'm not a vet, but I will drink the whiskey for them.
I'm nice.
Hey, it's a sacrifice. One other thing that's kind of an aside, and this has nothing to do with anything I've already talked about, but some of you know that, like Sam was talking about earlier, the zombie apocalypse thing, and how we're all, some of us are know exactly what we're going to do. I can't get anywhere on fucking time. You may have noticed where I walked in the building. And I know what I'm going to have for lunch tomorrow, but I know exactly what I'm going to do when the zombies come. I went to a little training simulation the other day at the nursing home. I was even ready to leave, and my mom works at this nursing home as well. She's worked there for like 25 years or so. I've been there about 4 years. And sometimes there are certain behaviors that these older folks get when they start getting into dementia and these horrible diseases that they get. And one of them is crawling. They get on their hands and knees and they crawl. So I'm getting ready to leave. I'm walking down this corridor. I see my mom walk by the connecting corridor. And she walked by, she looked, and she saw me. She's like, hey, she was kind of hanging out there waiting for me to get down to her. And in between my mom and I, this lady comes crawling out of her room on her hands and knees. I jump back, start a full head kick, and okay, false alarm. It's not a zombie. So I take a few steps back, and if this is what I do in the zombie apocalypse, somebody fucking shoot me, because I took about 3 steps back and I went, Mom! So yeah, bald, tough-looking zombie fighter. I'm gonna call my mommy. And the reason is, I figured out my subway. It's because she's always taking care of everyone as I was growing up. And we've heard some of the stories a little bit. She stayed home from work to take care of me. She did not send me to preschool. And I'm from a small town, 100 people. I still live there. That was a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is, I could read at 3 years old. The bad thing is, I didn't have any fucking friends. So when I went to school, I was not alienated. I was very personable with adults. I couldn't deal with kids. I was kind of weird back then.
You graduated to full tilt weird now, man, I'm just saying.
Well, I'm that shit crazy now, but...
That shit back.
So when I went to school, and I talked about how I was bullied amongst my peers, there's another group of people that kind of helped form this fucked up life that I had when I was a young person, and they were the ones that were supposed to be protecting me, the ones who were caring for me, the ones that were watching me when my parents sent me to public school. And the first one was this kindergarten teacher that I had. And I know the teachers, you know, you see a kindergarten teacher that the thing that you think of now is, you know, just out of college, the blonde hair, the freckles, the youthful gleam of taking care of the children. I had this old hag that I think she hated kids, to be honest. We had this trough of, it was supposed to be like a sandbox, but apparently sand was too messy for kindergartners to be fucking around in, so they filled it with kernels of corn. And we had little tractors that you could drive through. What do kids do with toys when, like, in a sandbox, in a corn box, if you will? You bury shit. We would get yelled at and banned from the corn box because we were burying the tractors. She critiqued the way we fucking played.
There's a right way.
Apparently, I wasn't doing it right, which I've heard that a lot before.
Man, there's a specific way you gotta bury tractors in a corn box. I'm just saying.
Well, I fucked it up. It was bad enough. They had this thing called kindergarten roundup. When you got ready to go to kindergarten,
That line for you.
they would run you through a battery of tests to make sure that you were ready. I nearly failed kindergarten roundup. My concept of reading or even identifying letters, because that's all you really kind of had to be able to somewhat do, I had that shit down. But they had a balance beam. And I couldn't walk on the balance beam. I still can't do this as an adult, and I've had high officials like sergeants and deputies and people like that try to help me practice, and it still doesn't fucking work. But I couldn't walk on a balance beam, and I couldn't cut a straight line or a circle. I still can't. They told me to cut a circle, I didn't even attempt to. I cut some abstract shape and gave it to them. And they looked at it like, what the hell is this? So she, with her, whatever degree she had, her kindergarten teacher degree, she deduces that there's something wrong with me. So she goes to my parents and she says, Mr. and Mrs. Taylor, I have to tell you that your son's motor skills suck. And I just barely got enough stickers. I passed just enough tests to get into kindergarten. Once I got there, I was good. Now she said, oh, he can tell you why the sun rises, and he understands things that are far beyond his years. Well, it's because I sat at home and watched 3-2-1 Contact and The Electric Company and all these great educational shows. That's what really showed, like, the fucking Teletubbies and Barney, So, which just brings something popping in my head. I don't give a fuck if Elmo's voice is gay either. I like Elmo, and he teaches me on top of some cool shit, and he does art.
Elmo liked you too.
I'm sure he did. So what's interesting is, and there's some other teachers and other, school officials that kind of fuck me up a little bit, that I'll speak about in a minute, but when you see these teachers, when you see your favorite teachers years later, and it's like, this is kind of weird. You still, I'm I'm 36 years old, and I see one of my teachers that's, 80 years old. That's still Mr. or Mrs. whomever, and then always working, Or my wrestling coach in high school is still a coach. And that's just something that's weird with me. It's a, I guess a respect thing.
Not just you.
Well, I recently saw my kindergarten teacher again. And I greeted her, I said hello, and told her who I was. She remembered me. She said, "Oh, you were such a pleasure to have in class." And I'm like, "You fucking critique the way I build a fucking tractor and corn." Well, the reason I noticed, and it is a shame, and working in the nursing home, I see this a lot, and I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to anyhow.
That's why we love
A lot of times, old people get that tremor, and it's that, I want to call it Michael J. Fox disease, but it's Parkinson's disease, and she seems to be beginning to get that. And I kind of for a moment felt bad, and then the light bulb came on. Those motor skills suck now, bitch. I didn't really say that, but I thought it.
That's 60 decibels.
Yeah. There was also in about the first or second grade, there was a teacher's aide that would come and watch us at recess. And this lady, I was just talking with a friend of mine the other day, we'll talk about this a little bit, in a second here. And if you're eating anything, finish up in about the next 5 minutes. So this teacher's aide, she was old when we were in school. When I was in second grade, this lady was really old, just, like knocking on death's door. I saw her the other day. She's still alive. She still looks exactly the same as she did when I was in second grade. I think she's a vampire or something. But this lady, and this would never be allowed today, she would monitor the second grade boys very closely in the bathroom. Walking into the bathroom, and we're, all right, you boys, let's hurry up in here, no more horseplay. As we're writing our name and piss on the wall and hanging, swinging on we wanted to disturb someone to me and say, we're fucking around. But she would come watch us and throw her whistle. I didn't piss or shit at school all year. I would get done with school, get off the bus, and get beeline around the corner. I'm like, what is going on here? That kind of fucked me up. Yeah.
One of.
You want to fuck up? I just saw her the other day. I told her I'd roll out loud, and would she like to try that again? I know a lot more now.
Next time's a diaper, huh?
Yeah. So when you have these people that are supposed to be taking care of you, supposed to be educating you, and they're just doing nothing but fucking with your head, it makes you feel kind of alone, such as the PE teacher that I had, who was, he resembled Hitler. And he would take a clipboard, and I can remember this very vividly because my dad wanted to kick his ass after I told him this. He would take a clipboard, and if it was your birthday and you brought treats for the group, and you didn't bring one for him, he would beat you with his clipboard, spank you on the ass during PE. He would also, if someone misbehaved, he would punish the entire class. And his way of punishing the entire class was making you get on your knees, put your hands behind your back, and press your nose against the bleachers. So it looks like he's going to walk by and start capping kids. That's what it has to look like. Unless you have recess outside, then you got to pick a fence post. I remember many times having burned on my nose from a hot fence post. That shit wouldn't fly these days. So I got a little fucked up when I was a kid just because of that, and the fact that I didn't have any friends. This changed, and when I remember this changing, is when I started fucking with this guy named Corby Boomer. And I've got permission to tell stories and use his name. It's one of the only times I've ever, went out and tried to get permission, because he's still my best friend. I was the best man in his wedding. He's just as weird and fucked up as I am. And he has a family. He is red. So I try to fuck his kids up as much as I can in a fun way.
What are friends for?
That's right. Mikey can't come play all the time. Well, when I remember starting to hang out with him, I was really into music. I always have been. And I would be bringing my Walkman to school, taking the headphones apart, running the wires up the sleeves of my leather jacket that I wore all the time, and I would sit in class like this, listening to Wars from Laws of the Universe, listening to Linus listening to the Black Crowes, Shake Your Money Maker, just all these tapes that I would buy, these cassettes. And he once asked me, what are you listening to? I let him listen one day. We've been friends ever since. Well, I remember junior high track one time. We were told, do not go over by the pole vault pit. Have you ever seen a pole vault pit? It's a cushion this big. It's a lot of fucking fun to jump on. So we would hurry up and get out there when we're supposed to be running our warm-up laps. We go fuck on the pole vault pit, fuck around, jumping around, fucking around and over, Well, he tried pole vaulting one day. He went up, he slid down the pole, one leg went on one side of the pole, one leg on the other side of the pole, and his feet were about that far from hitting the pit. He was stuck. We were up here as coach. Oh shit. Everybody starts running. I had to save my buddy. So I went back to the pole and hit him to knock him we didn't get in trouble. There was that. He was also a computer nerd. And he still is. He's the one that got me into podcasting. He's the one that got me into a lot of trouble with all kinds of stuff. I also got into a lot of trouble with other substances. But he taught me a lot about technology when I had no clue about it. So this is the part where you're eating. Hurry up. He really showed me the wonders of the internet when it right after Al Gore invented it. And so he was showing me, all this shit you can go look up, and I'm like, man, I don't want to learn anything. He's like, oh, no, check this out. And then he's like, there's more money, you got my attention. He decided to put his best foot forward. He went to a website called websickest.com.
Oh.
Where they had all these horribly awesome pictures from Amsterdam, from Tijuana, places like that. This is back in the early days of the internet, when you would get a little bit of thumbnail that you couldn't see, and you would click on it, and it would download color by color. We are at his girlfriend's dad's house.
Oh.
We were 18 years old. She was 15 years old.
That's babysitting.
And he might have been 17 just for legality's sake, but he didn't marry her, so. But anyhow, we're there. The dad's home. We were smart kids back then. And he clicks on this thing. He goes, let's check this out. And it starts downloading. And of course, it was always, just these blotchy images. Like, what the fuck is this? We're checking it out. I don't know what we were expecting to see. And this image starts to show up, and I'm like, oh my God, he hasn't quite figured it out yet. There's this kind of peach-colored blob over here. There's kind of this dark brown thing over here. We stumbled onto some scat porn. It's a young lady named Veronica Ware, she's not a young lady, but I'm not with her. And
I don't hate myself that much.
he starts this spasm thing. He's like, oh my God, that's hideous, that's disgusting, oh my God. What are you doing in there? Click, 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 click. I have no clue how a fucking computer worked at that point. So he's clicking shit, I'm like turning buttons off and unplugging shit. He's like, no! He goes for dad, and I farted. And it made him gag.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
It was at this time that I decided I was going to make it my personal mission. We play this little game now. I play this little game now. Anytime that I take a new friend over his house, a young lady, I try to work into the conversation either myself, or when it became not fun to do it myself, I would talk her into doing it. We worked into the conversation in some way, because he, at times, lives very vicariously through me. He's married with 3 kids. I've never been married, no kids, no desire. So he lives very vicariously through me, so I'd be like, hey, how'd you guys meet? Oh, it was awesome, man, we were at the bar. Dude, I miss going to the bar. I miss going to the bar with you and just hanging out. I'm like, I know, dude. I'll string it along. So then what happened? Dude, she bought me a drink. She bought you a drink? Oh my God, you're a little motherfucker. She didn't buy you a drink. Absolutely, she did. What happened then? I asked her to go home with me. Really? How did that go? She lived closer, so we went to her house. Oh my God, what happened, dude? She got completely naked. It was amazing. She got completely naked. Laid down on the bed, and I shit right in her mouth. He gets that same twinge. It's even better when I can talk to her into doing it. I've been playing this game since I was 18 years old. Almost 20 years of this sick joke that only I think is funny.
And he still asks you how you met?
He buys it every fucking time. The story's always different. That story leads into another story. And unfortunately, A, I don't have enough time to tell it, and B, I was too intoxicated to remember all the important details. It involves me, him, that story, our samurai brother Will Ross, and some sort of altercation that apparently I started with some guy and a transvestite. But that's for another time. Thank you.
For those of us who are in on the whole internet / BBS, et cetera thing, all I can remember is at some point in time going out and exploring the alt groups. Some of you might remember the joy of that. I always wanted to form one called Alt Sex. Jesus Christ, what the fuck was that? There were a few times I was sitting around after getting a picture going, just on the basis of what the FBI might be looking for, I'm going to reformat my hard drive. Twice. Just to make sure. Well, hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Girl. I have no idea what you're doing tonight.
I don't really either.
Oh, it's been the night for it, but it seems to be rolling pretty well. So, you know, we're doing okay with that theory so far. I hope. Anyway, let me see. I joke around about the first time Marlo and I met. I was taking pictures of her. A mutual friend of ours, Elizabeth Stair, introduced us on a day in February when it was like 62 degrees out, and I'm like, we've got to get outside and do something. Grab your camera, let's go. And so we had a great time. We went out shooting, and what I do remember was getting added to Marlo's Facebook that day, and then she messaged me saying, hi, I'd really like to get together and do some more pictures at some point in time, but just in case, I'm just kind of curious, are you like a skeevy old dude or something? And I said, I said I have references pro and con on that one, so you can kind of take your guess on that. Despite all of that, she still hangs around with me. She got involved with the Samurai, and, well, I'll let her take care of the rest. Ladies and gentlemen, Marla Daves.
Thanks, Dave. What was that thing you were doing earlier with calling the internet a cunt? Is that a theme for tonight?
No, that's actually, I was actually calling a specific person a cunt.
Okay, well, I'm not sure who's watching, so since I don't know you, not sure if you have the depth or the warmth to be considered a cunt, so I'm just going to flip you off. The theme of the night is for... I have to say cunt 4 more times? Oh, politics. So the theme of tonight apparently is politics and porn. And... So I feel like I can play with that a little bit. Well, it depends how you do it. If you do it right, it's the same thing. Power play, you know? But you guys know that I generally have a different job every month. My most recent one, I conducted political surveys. And I have never seen such a testament to human stupidity as talking to strangers about politics. Like, I ran the full gamut of responses from the, there's an election, to, I need this person for this, and you should too, and we all need you, otherwise the world is gonna end! So I stuck to the script for a little while, just kind of going through the motions. And the people that I was getting were so dynamic and so interesting, I thought to myself, I gotta play with this. I have a really bad habit of parroting people's accents, so I figured I would deviate from the script a little bit because, you know, I enjoy being a deviant. And I would have, like, the old man that I had to call, you could tell he's just sitting in the recliner with a beer in his hand, so who you calling for? And I'd crack my back. I'm conducting a political survey. Would you like to participate? And it made my rates just go up and up and up because people, for whatever reason, other than being offended, thought it was awesome. And I would also occasionally get the Valley Girls, like the, oh, I know this person's name, so I'm a vote for him. So mixing porn into it a little bit, I realized when I was at work that Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan is a direct anagram for my ultimate Ayn Rand porn. I was at work and I was thinking to myself, what would an Ayn Rand porn look like? I mean, you have you and your partner staring at each other like you hate each other, across the room just stroking yourself with money. Would that be the Ayn Rand porn?
And then the fountainhead.
And then the fountainhead, exactly. And then, you know, Atlas shrugged and it's all good.
I prefer Shudder.
Ah, touche, madam. But that made the job a little bit more fun. Occasionally, though, I would have to call to speak with the husband, and I would get the wife on the phone. And apparently, my phone voice is just ridiculously sexy. So I had a couple women that were no, he's not here, why are you calling, what do you want? And I have this policy about politeness. If you're kind to me, I'll return that. If you're a cunt, there you go, one more. If you're a cunt to me, then I just have to play with it back. So I had one woman that I called. No, he's not here. Who the hell are you? How do you have this number? And I collected myself for a moment. And I said, well, thank you so much for your time. I'm sorry to have disturbed you. We'll try back later. My boss didn't think it was as funny as I did. And I actually had to call her back and apologize, which was awesome. But the job I had right after that, I work as a medic and a performer in Anime NebraskaCon. So I had an improv comedy panel, and then they gave me a panel of gender roles in sci-fi, which for some reason they made 18 and above. So I was like, all right, talk about gender roles in anime, but it's an 18 plus show, so I feel like this is gonna go to hentai. You know, tentacles, because a girl needs a hobby. And it was awesome, the panel was great, the audience was getting involved in it, it was such a good exchange. But when I'm performing, I don't like to drink at all, which I know is kind of the samurai sin, but I prefer to wait until after that's all over. And you guys have heard me talk before about the please fuck with me face. So I apparently have a magnet on my head that tells drunk people that not only do I have beer, but I would love to see you dance and I want to hear everything about your last relationship. Go! So I'm just surrounded by people, these whirling dervishes of booze and stories all night. And I'm also a ridiculously injury-prone person. Like, I don't need booze to fuck myself up.
But it helps.
But it helps, yeah.
You just need Sam.
Yeah. It's just kind of a chronicling. Like, if I look at my body and look at the bruises, be like, oh, that was a great day. I remember. remember that. It's mementos, you know.
I'm not abusive, I swear.
Just a little bit, it's okay though. But occasionally you have friends that are drinking that think that they're invincible and would like to try to drive home. And you realize that that's a bad plan. Like, I have this new game that I'm trying lately where even though I look like a 12-year-old on steroids, I feel like I can be intimidating. So I was at a show with my friend Ben, who got the brilliant notion that, well, since I can hardly walk, I must sit in the car and then try driving home. My response to that was, Ben, if you put those keys in that fucking car, I will punch you in the eye. He, being a lot bigger than me, responded by bending down, going, oh, picking me up and spinning me around. Intimidation fail. Speaking of the, what?
Should have punched him.
I was gonna say,
I feel like that was a good well. Speaking of the injury prone though, you guys met Sam a little bit earlier. My boyfriend is blind, which is hilarious. Because, like, I need an excuse to get hurt more, right? But the two of us were talking, and we're still in that stage where I'm trying to be impressive and dynamic and show everything. And my dad is an avid collector, so our basement is like a museum of eccentric fandom. It's awesome. So I wanted Sam to come meet my dad. And this was kind of a gamble for me, because I thought it could go one of two ways. Either the very respectful, you know, it's very nice to meet you, I promise to be good to her. Or the other possibility, which is be the, I'm doing your daughter. Thankfully, the first was what happened, and so this was going along pretty well.
Yeah, mine is that orgasm comment.
Yeah, you did, but it's okay. He thought that was funny.
Good.
So, you know, there's kind of the stereotype of the guy goes to pick up the girl on the date, and the father's sitting on the front porch cleaning a shotgun.
And a shotgun.
Well, my dad collects antique weaponry, and so within 5 minutes of meeting Sam, he handed him a rifle with a bayonet on the end. Like, oh, you're dating her, you're gonna fucking need this. Here. So, who will give Sam weapons in the zombie apocalypse? Apparently my father. I also have a slight obsession with the trashy reality TV, which I'm determined I'm going to teach him at some point. So today we're watching the Maury, you know, that baby ain't mine, I couldn't do that. And the guy that they had on today was convinced that he was sterile because in high school he took birth control to make his hair grow longer. These people are allowed to breed. What the fuck is that? But I had this idea that I thought would be awesome. I doubt that the people that get the guests for shows like this actually check their facts. So I thought it'd be fun to make myself up, do the whole y'all don't know me thing, and have a friend with me, and we could have the marital spat, and we could have the violence. I should probably say Shelby, because she would work pretty well together. But just, you can make this entire circus out of nothing, and it's awesome. And some of you guys might know that Creature Feature, which is a television show that Mikey and I work on, is going to Fox in February, to the little TV channel. So another goal in my life is that I want to be bleeped on television. Like, I want to find a way to break character, but I want it to be something ridiculous. Like, you have no idea what I'm saying. Like, bleep, bleep, whale, bleep, five, bleep, green monkeys. See what you do with that. Oh, yeah. Help me out with that a little bit? Do a Drawn Together style?
Absolutely.
All right. So it's been just this crazy whirlwind of awesomeness in my life lately. But dating Sam is kind of an up and down thing. He's very hands-on. Which is his joke, I stole that. But, you know, in a relationship, what's mine is mine, and what's yours is also mine. So I feel like it works out okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
Thank you, see?
Just be a good lip reader.
He's not in school for gynecology quite yet. He doesn't know how to read lips yet.
I'm taking private lessons.
Oh, I'm only with him because of his big white stick.
Don't stop now.
See, I hear that sometimes, but...
Me too.
Thank you, Ben, yeah. I don't know, it's interesting being in a relationship with two performers because you constantly are trying to one-up the other one, and it's such a creative process. So right now we're in a stage where we're also trying to out-nerd each other. So we're lying in bed one night, just being adorable, kind of talking, and he grabbed my hand and he whispered, "I'm in lesbians with you."
Oh, God.
Thankfully, I've seen Scott Pilgrim, so I caught that reference, but there was nothing that I could possibly do to top that. So it's a learning process, definitely.
That's when you learn to top from the bottom.
I'm so fetish, I shit latex, Jessica, come on. How many more do I have? Do I have one more comment?
Yeah, one
Two?
more.
All right, well, I know nice meetings with all of you. Thank you so much.
Let's see, where was I? Omaha? Good. Just checking. You never know. So, we got a new guy. We got another new guy. I believe his name is Ben. I've not been introduced to him, but he better get his bitch ass up here. Just so. I don't get to pick on people often, man. I roll that well I can. Oh, great. Hey, Shelby, he's over at Children's. Let's fuck him up. There's three of us who work at women's hospitals, and we get a chuckle out of it. Oh. Yeah. So anyway, we have a tradition of taking somebody who's interested in joining the Samurai and saying, okay, you want to take a swing at it? Do your audition set. So, Ben, last name, please.
McFarland.
Cool. Fellow Mick, that gives you points. Ben McFarland, welcome to your audition set.
How's it going, pizza shop and Samurai? On my set list I wrote out at work tonight. Yeah, I'm at Children's. Please don't tell the children about this set. Please.
I work at Women's Hospital and I drop C-bombs like I was a fucking B-52. I feel you're
Yes, I think I get fired, yes. So, hi, my name is Ben and I'm gay. Fuck that, this isn't FA, this isn't faggots office.
Now we're loud and proud.
But you can't play away the game. No, you can't. Believe me, I tried. Could you imagine me there, 12 years old, on the Westboro Baptist Church floor? Pray away the game. Just pray away. Well, Fred Phelps said 1 more minute, it'll all go away. It never went away, it just came. All over my face. I like to listen to the reactions of the crowds whenever I'm on stage, and I always get different things, but it's really similar, like, wow, he doesn't even dress gay. Not particularly, but sometimes I do, but let's just face it, we dress back, Wow, he doesn't even act gay. No, but neither is Fred Phelps, and we all know what's in his closet. And that one gay man in the crowd, I don't know if he's here tonight. I always hear him. You don't even love Liza! No, I don't. That one bitch who thinks she's a psychiatrist, right? So what makes you think you're gay? Because I like to suck dick, shit. Doesn't take a second, you just should figure this one out. Yeah. I like when I tell a straight guy too. It was pretty much always the same, as long as you don't do anything with me, we're good. Because all straight men sound like that. Their manhood, I don't know, but it's kind of, like, that's a little self-centered, right, guy? I'd rather stick my dick in an anthrax AIDS-ridden vagina. And sorry, guy, I was just pissing next to in the bathroom. I wasn't checking you out, but you might want to get that mole looked at. So I come from Scottsbluff, Nebraska. There is not a lot going on there.
No place to be from.
Yeah, great story, I got the fuck out of there is the best story.
Fair.
Yeah, there's only like 3 types of people who live there, like meth heads, rednecks, and the people who choose to ignore them or make excuses for them, like, a meth problem? No! We just have really clean McDonald's. Rednecks? No. We don't have a tolerance issue. Our gay people are very happy. They're married to women. They just have to take their weekend trips with their golf buddy Steve. Never hit the golf course, but they always hit the Super 8. Yeah. I'm glad to be back in Omaha, though, but Omaha's kind of like a fuck you town, you know what I mean? Like, you're on Dodge, And usually in most towns, it's just an inconvenience to be behind somebody who's turning left on a busy road, but not in Omaha. They say, fuck you, we don't turn left. Not here.
We turn right, only.
So my family, we're pretty classy, right? We're really classy people. Like, you know, we'll do it right. We'll pay for the wedding, because all boys, like 5 boys in my family, we'll pay for the wedding. But that bitch pays for the divorce. You might as well sign that up at the same time. Oh, honey, he's not going to be free on the 30th? Oh, before I ate, I know. God. I love you. That one's new, so you guys didn't have to laugh at that one. So, I know I have to lose some weight. I'm getting pretty big. I need to lose some weight. But you can't blame me. I'm an emotional eater. You know, but I have a really bad set. I go home and I'm just like, guys, can somebody give me a large pizza and a big bottle of whiskey just for me? When I really good set, I go like, fuck yeah, guys, somebody give me a large pizza and a big bottle of whiskey just for me. Yeah. I get home, I don't even have anything going on tonight, guys. Someone give me a big pizza and a large bottle. Yeah. Do it just for me. You know. So, yeah, I need to lose it though, but I don't know how. I was watching David Letterman, not a normal place for most gay men to get their info from, but I did. He said you can have sex to lose weight. But the whole reason I want to lose weight is so I can have more sex, so that's kind of redundant. But there has to be a loophole, right? And there is. Girls still want to fuck me. Just flip that bitch around and go to town. She's down here thinking, why do you like it back there? It's kind of my area of expertise. Oh, you be kinky, what else are you into? Boys. This shit's not gonna work for me. I have an ex-girlfriend. In high school, you know, I was straight and then bi and then gay. Stepping stones to happy. I feel really bad for her now, though. It's like you could just imagine her around a big table with her friends, and one girl's like, oh, me and my first boyfriend, we made love in the back of a Dodge Camaro. Yes, I know just as much about cars as I do the NFL basketball league. The other one, we made love on a beach. You, what did you do? What did you do with your first boyfriend? We watched Moulin Rouge. He was gay. Yeah, so here we are, politics. More politics. Well, Obama did come out and support a gay marriage, right? So yes. Yes, it's good. But I thought I'd do my research. Why would we not want gay marriage? It almost pretty much all comes down to religion, right? That's all it pretty much comes down to. I read the same chapter that said all that stuff about the, you know, the one line. Other things that it said, and it's like, you can't plant 2 seeds in the same hole. Well, there goes my after-party plans. Can't wear one and live at the same time. Well, any faggot would have told you that anyway. And then, you know, it says, if a woman is unpure on her wedding day, then we can stone her to death. There's no punchline here. I'm just saying I want to stone some dirty bitches. Just saying. Is this live?
That's the internet.
Oh, it's the internet. Never mind.
You're back in the internet.
You're done. You're done. I never mind. I was going to no, never mind. We're good. This is my audition anyway, so I guess I should do the other half of my performance, which is poetry. And I'm going to do a poem for y'all off stage. Sometimes I just want to fucking hit you, turn you around and fuck you. I mean, we are all animals to the core. Stop pretending you're any better. Don't pretend. We always pretend with our name tags and our suits and our ties that we don't just want to fuck, kill, love, and thrill. Sometimes I just want to run that old lady down on the side of the road. I mean, do her a favor. With all due respect, we are only as strong as our weakest. Sometimes I just want to peel your skin up and see how it works, or take a bite into that flesh and see how it tastes with that last bit of blood trickling down my face. I would catch it and savor it. Other times, you just want to dive face first in the raw meat and give it the world wild side of things. Sometimes I just want to pummel his face to a bloody mess, or set her on fire in that pretty dress, or shoot the mother with the overwhelming stress and caress that beautiful boy till I find him just a little bit less. Forget the unexplainable, leap into the future. No, we are not more than cavemen, or we're wild beasts at heart. Boys and girls, we're barely out of the fucking jungle on this planet. But it's up to you to take that next step with our criticize over compromise, our technology over our technology over psychology, our testimony over truth, drowned in the minds of 1,000 wigs. And the strings start to get tangled, and the president gets strangled, and the everyday average American man starts to wonder why his hands are afloat. Shh, 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 shh. That's not what this is about. What this is about is how we are destined for bigger and better things. Far beyond the backstabbing, far beyond the instincts, far beyond the fucking. Although I love it, yes I do. But people just won't go beyond.
Fuck no, I gotta try to follow that.
I'm gonna try to trip myself. And so with that, we are done with this part of the evening. As I pointed out earlier, there is a picture over there for those of you who showed up a bit late. That picture is for donations to the American Red Cross. If you bought something, and have a little change left over, if you've got something that if you can get rid of, feel free to throw some money into the picture, because with all the stuff going on the East Coast, hell, with all the stuff that's been going on across the country, they could really use the fucking money. So please, if you can, give. We'd like to point out, we have a show coming up with Marlo Mapes and Sam Shoggy.
Yes! Thanks for the win.
Hey!
Stay dependent learning.
Yep. Scared shitless on stage, works for me every time. On November 26th, that will be at 8 o'clock with a open mic night at 7. So if you liked what you saw, please feel free to come down and join us. And then we'll have another show coming up on December 10th. I can't even begin to thank you all very much for showing up. It really means a lot to us. Good night.